It's Ketchup Packets.
Hey everybody, I'm Nate.
I'm Sean.
And this is Ketchup Packets. Today we're watching episode 7 of Firefly called Jaynestown.
Jaynestown, that's right. Have you ever been to Jaynestown, Nate?
No. Is it a place?
I don't know.
I mean, probably.
Sounds
it
like it.
Probably is a place.
Yeah. Most words that end in town are a place of some kind.
Right, but I don't think I've ever been to a Jaynestown. So is this going to be an episode where Jane gets a town?
That would be an inference you would draw.
Yeah.
But that's a strange concept, I guess, isn't it?
He, gets elected mayor. They land somewhere and he does something and then becomes sheriff or something like that.
Okay.
You know?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Kind of an Old West thing, you know?
Exactly, right. Yeah, the Old West kind of gives authority to the person who seems to deserve it the most. Right? What would our crew think about Jane getting his own town?
Well, I can imagine that they would think it's all around a bad idea. He probably shouldn't be in charge of anything, ever, because he's a hothead and a loose cannon.
Yeah,
but I mean, maybe
he gets the job done.
Yeah, maybe as a sheriff he would be alright, you know?
He's not capable of growth?
I think he is.
Okay.
But I also think he's pretty, they have to reel him in a lot.
It's true.
They have to hold him back from
keep
his
him on a leash, I think is the
instinct.
term, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So him being in charge seems like it would be, they would be troubled by it. But maybe he steps up to the plate. I guess there's only one way for us to find out, or for me to find out. You already know.
I found out many years ago, but I'm happy to find out again.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, check out our Patreon if you want. It's in the link below us. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're interested. Oh, and if you do join the Patreon, we are ahead.
Yes.
So there's episodes that are not available on YouTube.
More Firefly faster.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Jaynestown.
Let's do it.
Come on, admit it, it's true.
No, I won't.
Oh, cute.
So when is it that you do all this cussing after I go to bed, or?
I swear, when it's appropriate.
Simon, the whole point of swearing is that...
You know any of those people? Just someone who never swears, you know?
Not these days in my life.
I told you we're setting down on the Canton factory settlement on Higgins Moon.
Yep, that you did.
Canton don't allow guns in their town.
Yes, sir. That's why I ain't strapping one to my hip.
That's why you ain't strapped.
Listen, Mal, I was in Kent a few years back. I might have made me a few enemies thereabouts. So.
Enemies? You? No,
Can't imagine
how can
it.
Be?
Why are you still arguing what's been decided?
Gotta be tough.
Yep.
Okay, Nora, we're atmospheric. You are good to go.
Thanks, Wash. Disengaging.
So does the crew get a cut, or does the ship get a cut of her earnings?
I think she pays rent on the side.
Okay, that makes sense.
The management here don't take too kindly to sightseers, which is why we're posing as buyers. There ain't no one of us that loses part more than the good doctor. I mean, the pretty
What is
face,
Jane doing?
soft hands, definitely
getting ready.
an individual.
Jane said he was worried he made enemies here.
Yep.
That's why he's dressed like that.
Yeah, I see. It's a disguise?
We pay them next to nothing. That way we can pass the savings directly onto you, the customer.
So,
Saving.
do you say that out loud? Unprompted?
Yeah.
I guess so.
The frontier.
Yeah.
This stuff's 10 times stronger than steel and half the weight.
Yes.
Do you have a cat in nine tails?
I've heard.
I think he does.
Looks like it. Oof.
I'm sure the foreman has things need attending. Why don't we wander a bit, take a look at the operation, then you can figure on whether we get an account here.
Fair enough. Come to see me when you're through.
Man, Simon's not good at this.
Well, he's learning, like Haley said.
Yeah.
You haven't been here in years, Jane. You really think you need that get-up? No one's gonna remember you.
I think it's possible they might.
Huh.
Son
Interesting.
Simon swore.
Yeah.
You want to tell me how come there's a statue of you here and looking at me like I owe him something?
Wishing I could. I was here a few years back, like I said. Pulled a second story, stole a lot of scratch from the magistrate up on a hill. But things went way south. But they don't put you on a pedestal in town square for that.
Yeah, except I'm looking at some very compelling evidence says they do.
This must be what going mad feels like.
Yeah, it's all jumpy. Oh boy.
How's about we move away from this eerie-ass piece of work and get on with our greasily eerie-ass day? How's that?
I don't know. This here's a spectacle might warrant a moment's consideration.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, his eyes keep following me.
Come on. I crossed the magistrate of this company town. Understand? He ain't exactly a forgiving sort of guy.
Returning to the scene of the crime is not a good idea,
No.
so Jane is right to be jumpy.
Should have stayed on the ship.
What are we up to, sweetheart?
Bible's broken. Contradictions, false logistics. Doesn't make sense. Noah's Ark is a problem.
Really?
We'll have to call it early quantum state phenomenon. Only way to fit 5,000 species of mammal in the same.
Right.
River, you don't fix the Bible.
It's broken. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, I'm having, like,
It's not about
strong feelings of joy from this scene.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
you don't fix faith, River. It fixes you.
She's like, but I want to, though. I really want to fix faith.
She thought she was helping.
Yeah. He's got to have more than one Bible, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe just
Can't
let
be
her
a statue of me.
do what she wants with that one.
But I hope it wasn't like his personal or favorite one. you know?
Yeah.
Shake your head, boy. Your eyes are stuck. Get!
Your man's merchandise is here, safe in Kessler's hiding place. We just gotta figure out how to get it across town without being seen by the foreman and his prods. I advise we all just lay low for a moment.
Here's your tomato.
Oh boy.
Our love for it now ain't hard to explain. A hero of Camden, a man they call Jane.
Oh my god.
Our Jane saw the mothers
So,
breaking.
my question right now is
Saw the mothers
Jane's way of telling the story is that his interpretation of how they interpreted his actions, or did he do something good and didn't want to say anything? He wanted to make it sound like he did something bad to be
We'll
tough.
have to see.
No, this must be what going mad feels like.
Man they called Jane, he turned around his plane and let that money hit the sky.
Go around. That's where that cash went. I stole that money from Higgins, like the song says. Had to dump them strong boxes. Stay airborne.
Okay.
Then I drop it right square in the middle of Mud Farmer Central.
You gave the money back to the people.
Crappy town where I'm a hero.
Huh. Isn't that something?
I tore these out of her symbol and they turned into paper. But I want to put them back, so.
Sorry. What's that? River? River, come back!
Preacher, what the hell did you stick it? Whoa.
Kid told on him.
Yeah, he recognized him.
Hero of Canton won't be drinking that Shung Man, yeah? He drinks the best whiskey in the house!
Yeah, I'm wondering why he's so resistant to. I guess he stole from powerful people. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be. Yeah.
If the
I get
people
that.
in charge realize he's here, it's a problem for him.
This was all part of our new plan.
So can you clue me in?
It's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
Captain, how exactly is
Still
this
working the details.
I brought you here to bed, my son, not throw him a tea party.
Sir, a companion greeting ceremony is a ritual with centuries of
My
tradition.
son is 26 years old, and he ain't yet a man.
Oh,
26.
God.
This room is a consecrated place of union. Only your son belongs here.
Well,
Now, why don't you go on and let us begin our work?
No, listen here.
What do you want to watch?
No, he's just not used to being told what to do. Not being the one in charge.
It's true. I can see that.
He's come around.
Yep.
It'd be hard not to.
Yeah.
River? Please, why don't you come on out?
No, can't. Too much hair.
Oh my God.
Is that it? Hell yes, preacher. If I didn't have stuff to get done, I'd be in there with her.
That's not nice.
No.
He's putting the hair away now.
Doesn't matter. It'll still be there. Waiting.
Hey, we're home.
Waiting.
Did you know that Jane is a bona fide folk hero? Got a song and everything.
We can use it. Anyways, we talked a few pillars of the Mutter community into having a little Jane Day celebration in Town Square tomorrow. It should buy us enough.
When we put that statue of you in Town Square, Hugh rolled in, wanted to tear it down, but the whole town rioted.
For real?
You guys had a riot?
I can't believe you're back.
How could I stay away? There's a problem in Workertown, sir. Jane Cobb's come back.
Ooh. Okay, fun's over.
There was a good bit of acting from that guy.
Demon and Stitch?
What do you want with me?
Nothing. Done your time, you paid your debt. It's time you were on your way.
So they're gonna send the prisoner to go kill Jane.
I'm not the one who partnered up with you and then turned on you when his plan went south. And here's the poetical portion. He's back in town. This very day. Best of luck in your new life.
This is a trope I've seen before with the prisoner, the tough guy prisoner, who's like sent to kill the. Rick and Morty did this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was some drinking, but no, we certainly didn't. No, I would never. Not with Kaylee.
Oh.
What do you mean not with me?
Yeah. Oh, he makes me wince.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Hero of Canton, and they call me.
Jane's just still drunk.
Where are you going?
Going with you.
No, maybe you ought to stay here. It's about the time for a civilized person to have his breakfast. That's the sort of thing would be appropriate, don't you think?
Oh.
She gets really insulted when she feels like Simon thinks he's better than her, you know? And she's like lowly farm girl and he's civilized man, you know?
Right.
Aren't I supposed to be a man now?
A man is just a boy who's old enough to ask that question.
I feel like when I was pretty young, I was like, am I an adult yet?
It's a ritual.
I stay up late.
Fast, Higgins! Get out here!
Jeez.
Morning, kids. Is that Jane? Is that really him? Wash, pinch me. I must be dreaming.
Well, hell, I'll catch you.
Just get on over to Town Square, Jane. Your friends are waiting.
Yeah, now he feels guilty for doing this because he's like, they actually admire me, though.
They're my people.
Yeah, yes.
See, there's this man. He stole a ton of money from my dad and gave it to the poor, to my father's workers.
I know this man. He just has this idiotic sense of nobility, you know? He can never just let things go. He thinks he's this hard-hearted
Yeah,
criminal.
she thinks it's,
And he can be unrelenting.
Mel. Yeah.
You mean you actually know Jane?
Jane? Jane Cobb? You're talking about Jane Cobb?
Yes, Jane Cobb, the hero of Canton. The only person I ever saw who stood up to my father.
Listen, sir, I don't know who.
So pretentious.
Yeah.
Sir, look at me, you panty-waist idiot!
Oh.
I just spent the last 4 years steaming in a hot box, and you're sirring me?
Ouch.
Folks say you're part of Jane's team. Tell me, boy, I'll cut off every last bit of them good looks.
Oh.
Oh, not done yet, youngin'.
Go Simon, though, for actually having the balls to hit him in that situation.
And Simon doesn't know where he is, though. So the alternative was getting murdered.
Exactly, yeah, but he's learning, he's adapting to this new life.
Mm-hmm.
You people been given the shortest end of the stick ever been offered a human soul in this crap Hillverse. But you took that end. Well, you took it. And that's... Well, I guess that's something.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a speech maker.
No. Oh.
Well, Jane gets his.
Honey.
It's an Old West showdown.
Yep.
What's this about a hero of Canton? Is I hearing that right? 4 years of lockdown plays tricks on the ear. Jane is. Heck, we used to work together, he and I.
Yeah, nobody has weapons.
Why don't you just let old
Just
Jane
remembered that, yeah.
You protect the man you're with. You watch his back. Everybody knows that. Hell, except the hero of Canton.
You gonna talk me to death, buddy? Is that the plan?
This is the plan.
Whoa!
No. The strapping young lad is down. Oh! Would have been good to do that about 5 seconds earlier.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was waiting for him to do that. Whoa. This all just got a lot less festive.
Get up.
Where's Simon? Bring Simon over.
Right.
Oh.
Well, Simon's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's true.
What he said? You think there's someone just gonna drop money on you? Money they can use? Well, there ain't people like that. There's just people like me.
Yeesh.
That kid pulled a knife out of the other guy.
Yeah, dude. Brutal. I'm kind of surprised he actually came clean.
Well,
I feel
he's
like that guy's a liar.
feels
Senpai.
guilty about the kid who just jumped in front of him.
Yeah, I guess so.
Feels unworthy of their reverence.
I mean, that's incredibly, like, good workmanship to make that. Just leave it. Why not?
He doesn't deserve it, he feels, you know?
Has there been a problem with takeoff?
Is there a problem?
Is that a yes?
No. We're fine.
How dare you defy me?
You wanted to make a man out of me, Dad. I guess it worked.
Look at him, he's man-spreading and everything.
The power triangle.
That's right. So you know he's a man.
Yeah, there wasn't one of them understood what happened out there. They're probably sticking that statue right back up.
Most likely. It's my estimation that every man ever got a statue made of him was one kind of some bitch or another.
True that.
Yeah, I love that line.
And about you, Jane.
It's a reminder that we're all just people, even the great people of history and stuff.
Wow.
There we go. Yeah, I like that line because it's a reminder that even like our paragon of virtue symbols, people like Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross or things like that, you know, it's important to remember that like those were human beings that had bad relationships with some people and good relationships with others, and that's just how it works, you know.
I mean, my understanding of Mr. Rogers in particular was that he was very pure.
He was, but he had a troubled relationship with at least one of his sons. I know that.
Interesting.
I watched the Tom Hanks movie where he played Mr. Rogers a while ago, and it talks a little bit. He talks a little bit in that movie about his struggles with his son. I mean, he's a human, you know.
Right.
He would have to have
mean,
him. It's
you can't. There's no perfect person.
Exactly,
right?
You know, and that's I think the reminder of that was one type of some bitch or another. You know,
right.
I'm sure that those people, even the ones that we see as so good and so successful at achieving goodness, weren't perfect at it, and everybody fails and does stuff that is wrong and that they are blameworthy for. I don't know.
It's also just interesting to think about the idea that we build people up in our heads, you know, in society and the media and stuff to be like one type of way, and then when we find out that they're actually different from how we perceived them, you know, like, I guess not to the person that's coming to mind is Elon Musk. It's
you know,
the perception that he had maybe in like, you know, the early 2000s versus
right, but that's all just about the way that like a public figure, you only ever see what they have decided to show you in one way or another, you know. And then Elon Musk was showing the public one thing in certain aspects of what he cared about, and it got one response, and then he started showing other aspects of what he cared about, and it changed drastically. Yeah, that's a good example. But it's a reminder that it's all, you know, we feel like we have a personal relationship to public figures, and then when their image changes in our mind, we feel like they betrayed us personally, and like there was some agreement they made with us that they then violated. And none of that's true.
Like, nope. It's our own fault for even assuming things about them. You know?
And with something like the Mudders too, with a desperate population there of essentially slaves doing backbreaking work all day, the Jane story is more for them than it is for. I mean, he didn't know about it till he showed up back there. You know, it's not for him in any sense. It's the legend that they need to tell themselves that there are people out there. If we just keep plugging away, there are people who are trying to randomly do good things for us and make our situation better.
Right, yeah. There are heroes. And it's like, and the unfortunate thing about the way this story ended was like, he kind of had to be like, no, there's not. There was a complete accident. I didn't mean to do anything, you know.
Right. Maybe they got a new hero. Maybe that kid will be made into a hero because of what he did in that situation, you know?
Because he protected a liar.
He protected the old hero. It's not, you know, the symbol that he meant, I think, would be important to the Mutter population. We're seeing it from the outsider's perspective.
Yeah, right. It's very interesting to get a little insight into Jane's sort of mentality. All he really actually wants deep down is to be like appreciated in like a strange way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, even if it's on the basis of a lie. And I know that they made sure not to make it super conceptual for him. He was getting the good whiskey, you know, everyone was like cheering his name and stuff, and that stuff just kind of feels good. So like they made sure not to just make it like, oh, he wants the stuff that comes from being appreciated.
Exactly. Yeah, you do wonder about Jane's history and stuff, and like he seems like at his core he's got maybe a similar worldview kind of to Saffron from the last episode, where like he is just seen that the world is a place where you look out for yourself and you take what you can get, and he's in the crew of Serenity right now because it is beneficial for him to be there, to have these people around, and his fundamental worldview is about looking out for yourself, and he sees himself as an individual operator rather than as part of a larger group.
And I also kind of feel like we, though, are seeing him. We were introduced to him in the middle of a character arc, because based on what we learned in this episode, he'd been rolling with that guy for 6 months and just threw him out the hatch. And I don't think he would do that to anybody on Serenity. He's had moments of like concern about the other people around him just for their own sake, you know, and not so much for what they can offer to him specifically.
Right.
And it's almost like he's in the middle of the truth of his past and then the myth that they made up.
Sure,
Somewhere in the middle. you know?
Right. Yeah, he's a happy medium. He's a mix of the good and the bad, like all human beings.
Right. So I feel like his capacity to throw people under the bus is softening.
Yes.
As time goes on, and he's on this crew who obviously are just full of people who all actually like legitimately care about each other
and care about what's right.
Yeah. It feels like they have his back, even if they don't like him all the time. And I think that would be a hard thing for him to look past if the chips were down.
Exactly, because it's so easy to frame that as something that's beneficial for him, you know?
Right,
So
that's true.
Well, but and that, that's a foot in the door, and then it ends up actually changing the way he views the world, and you stop seeing the world as a place where everybody's out for themselves.
Right, exactly. This isn't really related, I guess, but I was hearing somebody, I can't remember what I was listening to, but somebody was talking about how, like, your pets don't actually love you. They just know that you're where they can get, like, warmth and food, and they feel, like, safe around you.
What's the difference?
That's exactly my point. It's like, all relationships are transactional in some sort of cold way of thinking about it, but then the transaction is actually kind of part of what creates like true closeness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a weird way to look at relationships. I'm not trying to cheapen like love.
No, but I totally understand what you're saying, and I think I'm on the same page there too. It's people try to make a distinction there of, like, oh, it's not this thing, it's all the component parts that make up this thing.
Right.
Like, yeah, okay.
Right.
It's a distinction without a difference, I think that's what they call that.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. And it was also nice to see Kaylee and Simon's relationship move forward a little bit.
And I like that after they had, they were drinking together and having a good time, and then Kaylee is the kind of person who just addresses it with him afterwards. She's like, so what's the deal? Why are you, why are you acting like this?
I don't know. I feel like his answer was a little bit of a cop-out.
It was, for sure. Yeah.
It's like, dude, no, you just have trouble with emotions. You just don't know how to... Your sense of propriety is so extreme that, like, once you are put into a situation where you should, like, let go a little bit, you just can't, you clam up.
Exactly.
You just can't do it.
He's extremely uncomfortable in those scenarios.
Right.
Yeah. But Kaylee's approach is kind of the opposite of Inara's, who will never just, like, come right out and say what both people know they experience. Kaylee's going to be direct, and Inara's going to beat around the bush forever.
Yeah, true that. This is a great show, man.
Yeah, it's a good one. This marks the halfway through the series point. We've got the movie afterwards, but there are 14 episodes, and that's 7 under our belt. So, 7 more to go. Do you feel like you know the crew pretty well by now? They're familiar at this point?
Big time.
The show does a good job of familiarizing you and making you feel like you live among this group.
Yeah. I mean, it is truly tragic. I mean, we've kind of already talked about this in previous episodes, but just that, like, I could watch this show for, like, many, many seasons and watch these characters go through all sorts of different scenarios and, like, like, I love... Star Trek The Next Generation is a fun show for me. I was familiarized with those characters, like, when I was younger, and, like, when I've gone back to watch it, even though it's, like, campy 90s at this point, it's, like, still, like... You just love to see these characters thrown into, like, different scenarios and see what they do. You
definitely
actually connect with them and learn to care about them, and it's, like, actually pretty devastating that this is just gonna, like, end.
Especially when a show like this does, like, hit and catch on with an audience and stuff like that. When you make season 2, you give them more money. And so, like, the production and the sets and the locations they were in would have only become more interesting and more dynamic as the series went on if it had gotten legs and gained a following over the years, So we're still just only seeing kind of proto-Firefly based on what it really could have become.
Yeah, season 1.
Yeah, think back to season 1 of your favorite sci-fi show. Yeah.
Wild, man.
It's a tragedy, but we still have half the series left to go for now, so now you don't have to mourn until it's time to mourn.
Just, preparing myself a little bit.
That's right, pre-mourning.
Pre-mourning. All right, well, I think that's it, yeah? Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us.
Thanks, Brown Coats.
Yeah.
He remembered, all right.
Of course, yeah. It's great to see you. I'm Nate.
I'm Sean.
Ketchup Packets.